And welcome back, GTA Gamer followers. My name is William Key, the editor-in-chief with GTA Gamers. I'm here to give you a final video kind of summing up Sony's press conference, which took place late last night from about 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. And I believe that Sony won. And before we get too hardcore into why Sony won, why don't we go through what they kind of discussed in this sort of brief overview. Not really brief because I talked for a long time, but I'm going to go through a bit of the points that they kind of addressed. So some of the gameplay demos and trailers that they showed off at this E3 was Gran Turismo 6, one that it kind of made me more angry than excited for a racing game, given the fact that, not to spoil anything, Ubisoft delivered a stellar just to spin off the wagon here, Ubisoft delivered a stellar conference, kind of following the same trend that they did last year when they teased the Watch Dogs game, and they showed new gameplay footage for Watch Dogs, which still looks fucking amazing even a year later. But this time they showed something for Tom Clancy's The Division in the same fashion they did for Watch Dogs, trying to scare the crap out of us. It was a great way to kind of end the night. But they also showed off this racing game, just to get back to what I was talking about, called The Crew, which reminds me of a bit of Fast and the Furious meets Need for Speed and this open world driving simulator that takes place across a big heap of land in the United States. From the west, lots of mountainous areas and desert roads and stuff like that, to big bustling cities like Chicago and New York and Detroit, and Miami as well. It's going to be a fucking awesome looking game, and I'm really stoked for a racing game for once, and that's the one that I'm most stoked for. But Gran Turismo 6, when it was talking about the new specs and a lot of the new mechanics that are in the game, I didn't understand a lot of them, and that's what kind of pissed me off the most about this conference. It's like, I'm not a person with a racing background. I'm not a person that knows a lot about cars, so I really want to know, what are these specs? Can you kind of break it down for me? For someone who doesn't know a lot about cars and doesn't really know the difference between mechanics in games. And that kind of goes the same for sports games too. I find when they show off sports games, they expect us gamers to ultimately know about, dribble styles in basketball and, certain deeks and stuff in NFL. And it's like, no, we're not fucking experts on this kind of thing. Why are you showing it to us? They also showed quick trailers for, there's a game called Puppeteer. They showed off something for Beyond Two Souls, a new extended trailer, which is pretty cool. We couldn't escape seeing The Last of Us again, so that was pretty great. And then they had kind of brought us back to some stuff they showed off at their original Sony press conference, including Killzone's Shadowfall and Infamous Second Son, as well as a new trailer for a game called Drive Club, which I think is a remake, but I'm going to have to double check that because I haven't really watched the Drive Club trailer. I'm assuming it's another driving game. Batman Arkham Origins got a new trailer. Of course, I'm super pumped for Batman, even though we got some new voices in the forms of the new Batman and Joker. Although they don't look that bad, actually. The voices don't sound as awkward as fucking Solid Snake did. Although it may take some getting used to, but maybe not as long as it will for such an iconic character like Snake. But, the Batman Arkham Origins trailer just looks awesome. We get Bane, Deadshot, and Deathstroke as three of the assassins that Black Mask is sending out. You get to see Joker before the end of the trailer. I think that's awesome. Just the Batman Joker arch rivalry. That's going to be amazing to see how that plays out, especially given that this is a prequel to the Arkham series. So this is the first time that Batman's really tussling with a lot of these villains for the first time. The new imaging of Bane looks a lot more intimidating, a lot more somewhat professional. He doesn't look like a man charging at a wall with no brains or anything like that, so that's going to be pretty cool. They showed off, like I mentioned, the demo for Watch Dogs. The Black Flag Assassin's Creed demo kind of froze. It kind of screwed up close to the end. But, they showed off some new games. Mad Max, The Dark Sorcerer, which is another Quantic Dream game that I haven't watched the trailer yet, and as well as Transistor, and a game called The Order 1886. The main thing that around the halfway point of the conference, I think maybe around 10:15, 10:20, they showed off what was going to be Final Fantasy Versus 13. The really, really amazing looking trailer. The graphics are spectacular. I was going like, whoa, what the hell? Holy shit. At like multiple parts in that. And then right at the end of the trailer, Final Fantasy Versus morphs into fucking Final Fantasy 15. Kaboom! Kaboom! And then, you know, I had gone at this point to go and pick up my brother Carter from work. So as soon as I walk in the door, I start reading on Twitter that they've confirmed Kingdom Hearts 3. Okay? And I was fucking livid because I was so pissed that I missed it live. So I had to go on and watch it right after the conference. But the funniest thing that I think came out of the... actually, no, you know what? I'll address those points after, but I need to tell you about what after... Because after the conference, I went to watch Final Fantasy 15 and as well as Kingdom Hearts 3. And I was just... And this was, of course, after all of the other things that... Like, Sony was at beating the shit out of Microsoft at this point. They were just giving it to them. Sony was just like, you know, fucking PlayStation 4 will now support used games. Fuck you, Microsoft. And it was just like, oh, there's no need to connect to the internet for the PlayStation. Fuck you, Microsoft. And then it was just like, oh, the price of the PlayStation 4, guess what? $399, $100 less than the Xbox One. Fuck you, Microsoft. And then there was a fucking used games demo video, which was the most hilarious thing I'd ever seen in my life. It was just this fucking Asian guy and this white guy, and they were just like, okay, we're gonna show off how we're gonna do used games and stuff. And it just like said, step 1 for used games and shit. And the Asian guy just gives it to the guy, and it was just like, thanks. That's how you properly give a game to your friend that's used. And the Xbox just totally doesn't know how to do that anymore, because now you have to pay a fee to be able to play someone else's game. And so Microsoft is probably like shaking their heads at this point. And it was just the most hilarious thing, because memes started piling up all over the place of just the Sony beating the shit out of the fucking Xbox One. And you know what? At the end of it, I just felt so many nasty things for Sony. Oh my god. I felt my true love come back to me. And then, not only that, but it pretty much confirmed that I was going to be buying a PlayStation 3 when I saw the trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. I was like, no way. After so many years, it's been 7 years, I think, since Kingdom Hearts 2 had come out. Maybe 7 or 8 years. And then when I saw Kingdom Hearts 3, and I saw that fucking trailer, I was just like,
fucking take my money, Sony! Just fucking take my fucking money!
So I had a beautiful night. I gotta tell you, Sony won the night for me, followed by Nintendo and Microsoft. Given everything that we've seen so far out of all 3 conferences, I think all 3 of them really brought their A game. Nobody really let down for a second, especially Sony. Sony knew that they got it on Xbox, and they fucking threw it in their faces multiple times. And you can see the journalists in the audience, they were laughing along with it. They were standing up, they were cheering. Oh my god, I was surprised that people weren't throwing shirts like I just did. Throwing their clothes at Jack Tretton on the stage when he was just smiling with that evil, sinister look on his face, knowing that he won. Knowing that his company, Sony, won that E3 conference. Like, oh my god. It was the most beautiful thing. And then just to top it all off, we finally see the gameplay footage for Destiny, which is a game I pre-ordered for the 360. And as soon as I finished watching that, I was like, you know what? I want to march down right to an EB Games store, withdraw my pre-order on Destiny, and move it to the PlayStation 4, because I'm going to be getting a PlayStation 4. Thank you, Sony. Thank you for making me realize that I've been missing my long-lost love for so long. And I'm going to be coming back to you this fall. Me and you going to be reunited, just like me and the PlayStation 2. We're all going to be a big happy family. Oh my fucking god. That's a little extreme. But, you know what? This conference was definitely the best conference I've seen in many a long time. Especially given that Sony has got the fucking balls of a 700-pound... They've got the balls of a blue whale. Maybe even like 10. They've got 10 blue whale balls. They're just fucking... They're holding on to them, and they're just like, yeah, we're going to show them loud and proud, and then we're going to roll them down a hill at Microsoft, and we're going to watch them fucking die. Oh, man. And people who were, you know, convinced that Microsoft had won, they just left and they went back over to Sony. They were like, you know what? Nope, Sony won this. I don't know. I mean, sure, you can still get games like fucking Metal Gear Solid, but, you know, it's pretty much just like Sony versus Halo for me right now. And Halo's the only game that I've really ever stuck to on Microsoft. That's the only game that I would actually want to play on Xbox at this point. There was nothing else that I saw in that trailer that I would really want to make me want to buy an Xbox One. I don't care about the all-in-one system. Go watch the last 2 podcasts. We discuss it. We discussed that, fuck the all-in-one. That the Xbox is still trying to advertise itself as a game console. But look at this. Ugh. And you know what? You did have an impressive showing of games, Microsoft. I will give you that. You came and you delivered your promise. But Sony still kicked the crap out of you, and they did it. They did it with such fucking awesomeness. I don't even have words to describe how awesome Sony is right now. And, how fucking long of a penis they must have right now. And they're fucking bending you over table. And they're doing dirty things to you right now. And I'm just standing there videotaping the whole fucking thing. Standing right next to my good buddy Nintendo. As we're just nodding our heads. We're like, oh yeah. Fucking Sony Sony fucking fucked Microsoft, man. It's a beautiful thing. Also forgot to mention that they showed off this new Sony hardware, which was, it's a kind of rhombus-shaped platform. I don't know why I didn't mention it before. I mean, that was also another big thing. They had a nice-looking console, so I starting like a like Sony trapezoid on Twitter, although it wasn't really working. So I was just like, okay. Sony trapezoid, Sony rhombus, choose one that's going to be fucking great. So they showed off that, and they also, at the top of the conference, showed off some PlayStation Vita games, or some, like, just to show that PlayStation Vita was not dead. As well, PlayStation 3. So yeah, this is the true ending of the Sony conference.